Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fiasco Joe Show. It's your host, Fiasco Joe, that's me. Um, Today we're going to talk about sort of my overall approach to playing World of Warcraft. The way I'm describing it is L.E.S.S, which is L.E.S.S, low effort, strictly solo. Why do I play this way, okay? Why would I play strictly solo in an online game that is supposed to be social and that is specifically designed to reward interactive multiplayer gameplay like dungeons and raids and even like group PvP? Like, if those are the main things to do in the game, why would I play solo? And why do I think this play style is valid and relevant, especially given, like, I'm not assuming that there's like a whole lot of controversy surrounding it. I think most people are more or less okay with what I'm doing, but I do think a small number of people might be actually kind of pissed off at me that this is how I choose to do things in their multiplayer MMO game. And the reason I say that is simply because the devs of the game are obviously making certain concessions to players like me, right? The whole delve feature, follower dungeons, all kinds of stuff that the devs are putting in now that is clearly aimed at solo players and more casual players. So if you're one of those players who is a little bit pissed off that all of a sudden the developers of your MMO are accommodating players like me, then in part this video is for you. So as you can see, these 7 characters, not this guy, Hellspleen was not played in the last season, but I do have Squeezy and other warlocks. This is the season 2 warlock gear. But as you can see, these 7 characters are outfitted in season 2 class tier set gear, but it isn't the top-notch gear. These are the normal level recolors of the season 2 gear, and I'll show you sort of what I've got, and we'll talk a little bit about how I got it. I hope not to make this video too long, but so if we go in here, appearances, we go not here. Where is it? Yeah, here. This guy. So this is the normal recolor. I didn't get the wrist pieces because they don't show up on the armor. But I've got the Raid Finder set and the normal set, and that's true over all of the 7 characters I just showed you. So one of the aspects of this playstyle that I want to acquaint you with is the idea that we don't necessarily aim for the top-notch rewards. Okay, so that's one reason I think it's valid, is that, like, if you're a more hardcore player and you're aiming for the mythic set, or heroic and above, or maybe you're aiming for all 4, you don't have to be threatened by what I'm doing, because let me see if I can find, no, anyway, I'm gonna find the season 2 group PvP stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's one reason I think it's valid, is because I'm contenting myself with lesser rewards. All of my characters have the normal recolor. They're not walking around town in the myth set, so everybody knows I'm a little bit of a scrub, if you want to look at it that way. They're like, oh boy, this, the best this guy could do is normal. So I don't have the same level of prestige. Obviously, like, the mythic set tends to come with better, like, highlights and, what am I trying to say, lighting effects and stuff. So that's one element of it that I think is relevant and valid, is that I'm not walking around town in the best gear. So my prestige levels are lower, and for me, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't really suffer from FOMO. It's not a problem for me, right? And I like these sets. I don't know how else to say it. But like, I'm perfectly content. Like, I think the Raid Finder looks really cool. I think the normal looks really cool. Not to say that the Mythic doesn't look cool, because who doesn't love like bright red, glowy, fiery stuff coming out of you? You know, it's great and all. And yeah, I mean, would I like to have this? Sure. If it was easy to get, I would like to have it. But I can content myself with normal recolors of stuff because I'm not taking everything so seriously. And another reason I think this is valid is simply because, like, WoW, World of Warcraft is not my life. You know what I mean? I'm not a 20-something anymore. I'm actually in my 40s now. So I need, like, low effort, low blood pressure activities. That's the way one of my friends put it. And I think they really speak for me when they say that. Is like, we don't need high stress, high headache activities to get by anymore. I'm a 40-year-old man. If I have an aneurysm, I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying? If my blood pressure gets out of hand, that's a health risk for me. So I don't need to be worrying about coordinating some 20-man group. I don't even want to have to worry about coordinating 5 friends of mine in a guild. You know, like, I don't have to worry about communicating with anybody while I'm playing. Now, the other aspect of the game that I specified was that I try to make enough money for a WoW token. I'll show you. I've got some gold stashed away in my warband bank. This is sort of my stash for
to be reasonable.
It's not a lot. It's certainly not enough to get a WoW token right now. But I'm only like halfway through the current WoW token I just burned to get back into Season 3. And I have yet another WoW token already in my inventory. So even when this WoW token runs out, I'll have enough juice to go a little longer and afford another WoW token. And the fact is, like, I've made most of that, like, $100,000, 135 or whatever it was, $1,000, pretty quickly. Because I'm doing really low effort gold farm. It is cloth farming is what I'm doing. I've got tailoring. I've got this is quality fabric. This is textile treasures. That's all you really need. And if you get your skill to 60, you can unlock this knowledge tree and get Duskweave. And Duskweave is really valuable. The reason I don't get Dawnweave in addition is because Dawnweave is really not as valuable. But Duskweave is very much worth gathering. And so as you can see, you can get it without actually having to commit any knowledge points to this actual tree. So in this case, it's 60 knowledge points and 60 skill points is all you need in cloth farming. Why is that important? Because it doesn't require a huge commitment. It can be acquired very easily on any character you want, and you're going to be able to get there very rapidly and just start doing the thing. So you can get the system online really rapidly. Let me show you. Back in Season 2, I was also doing a different farm. Let me see. Here, So Wrong is still spec'd into what I was doing. Back in Season 2, I was a blacksmith on all my characters, and I was using like a concentration farm system where you see how you got your concentration points. This character hasn't used those in a while. But what I would do is I would mine rank 2 bismuth, which I don't have any of it right now. But I would make rank 3 core alloy out of rank 2 bismuth. And because rank 2 bismuth doesn't really cost that much more than rank 1 bismuth, it was a slight concentration point savings in exchange for basically the same amount of profit. Okay? And as you can see, the profit margin is pretty good. it's got about like 200% of the actual crafting price. And remember, I was mining the bismuth myself to feed these 7 characters their bismuth to make the core alloy and sell it on the auction house. I've also got, because the prices for raw materials went down after the season sort of got underway, I've actually got a stockpile of ore and alloy that I haven't sold yet because I'm waiting for the prices to go back up. So that's what that is. Anyway, that's probably more detail than I really needed to go into. Now for season 3, I'm not going to do the blacksmithing because honestly it's not that the blacksmithing was such a big deal, but the mining was starting to feel like a chore because it's not a very fun game activity. Then that brings me to another point, which is that technically having fun doing an activity is more important than it being low effort. I just want to clarify that, right? So when you're running like a follower dungeon, like I'll show you what I do. So I do cloth farming now, and I got this idea from a different YouTube video. But so I run Spoons here, who is my Fury Warrior. And we're gonna run a follower dungeon, which is Dark Flame Cleft. And we run it on follower dungeon because it's easy to kill stuff when you've got 4 companions. Fortunately, they're just AI, so I don't have to worry about giving them commands or anything. They just do their own thing. They're following me right now. So this first room here is chock full of non-elite enemies that will drop cloth. They drop cloth better than the elite enemies because the elite enemies are on a different loot balance table in order to try to curtail your ability to sort of run follower dungeons infinitely to get cloth, which is interesting because that's kind of exactly what I'm doing. In addition to that, and after you do that, you just leave the instance group and leave the dungeon. And you just do it over and over again for as long as you feel like, and your gold returns are pretty good. Now, an actual, like, pro will do that a lot quicker than I just did it. They'll pull the whole room and just wipe them all out as a group. I don't bother to do that because I'm not that interested in optimization. And that brings me to another point, which is that when you're playing low effort strictly solo, optimization is optional. Okay, that's my little tagline. Optimization is optional. And you'll notice, like, if you were to look at the skill loadout of any one of these characters, you'll notice that they're nowhere near the optimal build that you will get off of, like, Wowhead if you just look it up. I handmade all of the builds in order to be simple. Not in order to optimize my damage output, but in order to keep the playstyle simple, because that's how I prefer to play. Which brings me to another relevant point, which is the idea of operational simplicity. Okay? That is to say that on an operational level, there's nothing complex about what I'm doing. When it comes time to sit down and just do stuff, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to do a low-level delve in order to grab a piece of veteran gear. And back on the gearing front, all I need is veteran gear. And those of you who are keeping score at home will know that it's exceedingly easy to acquire veteran gear. You can do 2 weekly quests per week, and those caches you get, those chests you get, will give you 2 pieces of veteran gear. Now, they may not be the gear you need, but you know, it's 2 free pieces a week, basically, in addition to like the spark you're trying to get. So you're probably going to do these weekly quests yourself anyway, and the fact that they give you free gear pieces means that it's an additional bonus, especially considering that the veteran track pieces of gear are technically the most advanced pieces of gear I'm going to need Because again, all I'm trying to do is get normal level recolors, which you can do with veteran track pieces of gear. With veteran track, once I get an appropriate veteran track piece of gear, I upgrade it with the catalyst, which if you don't know what the catalyst is, you're kind of missing out, but I'll show you anyway. Catalyst is this little doodad down here that you interact with, and you put some piece of purple gear in here, and it converts it to a set piece. So the fact that I can do that immediately with veteran track pieces of gear means I'm already well on my way to getting the tier set recolors that I'm actually aiming for. And for those of you who are keeping score at home, you'll know that getting veteran track pieces of gear tends to get even easier as the season goes on. For one thing, if you're doing delves, once you get your delve, excuse me, once you get your delve reward track up to a certain point, you can buy veteran track pieces of gear from the delve vendor over here. Let me see if he's got it. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, these warbound pieces of gear are veteran track, and they're season 3. So once you get them, you upgrade them up to level 4 before you convert them with the catalyst, and then you come into the upgrade vendor,
I will do my duty.
and you will upgrade them up to veteran track 5 or above.
Stay vigilant.
At which point they will naturally convert their appearance into normal up from Raid Finder. So Raid Finder comes at upgrade level 1 through 4 on veteran track gear. Normal recolor comes at upgrade level 5 through 8 on veteran gear. That's not a lot of resources to upgrade it up to that point. Not really. So those resources can be acquired very easily by just doing stuff every week. So it's very, very easy to get your hands on the resources you need to fuel this play style. It's very easy to get the gear pieces. It's very easy to get the upgrade resources. So that's what I mean by low effort. Okay, so hopefully I've clarified the idea of what I mean by low effort strictly solo. And again, like if you don't think of this as fun, that's fine. Like everybody has fun in different ways. If you're more of a hardcore character and that's what you enjoy, then I wish you the best. This is not me saying that this is the best way to play the game. This is certainly not me calling anybody else some kind of poser. That's not what I'm doing. I think people who enjoy group content are great. I think people who enjoy doing Mythic Plus dungeons and getting up to a high level of proficiency are great. I think people who do group PvP and get up to like that elite level and grab all the conquest points to get all that gear they need, I think that's great. But it's not for me. You know, I've done my share of like group content back in the day, because let's be clear, like this playstyle was not always all that viable. Strictly solo playstyle wasn't really all that viable until they came out with follower dungeons, story mode raids, and delves. You know, before War Within, this playstyle would have been rubbish. The thing I'm trying to explain to you right now is that the devs have put a lot of work into making this playstyle viable, and you know, it's very, very simple. It's very, very easy to do, and I think anybody can do it. So that's the extent of it. I guess I'm gonna call the video right here. I don't know if I really clarified my case or why I think this is viable, but basically, like, you want to be doing activities that are fun for you. You just don't have to worry about groups. Okay, so the delves are reasonably fun. They're a little bit challenging, but not that challenging. You know, doing cloth farming by running A follower dungeon really isn't all that challenging at all, but it's still funner than like flying around and gathering, ore. Not that there's anything wrong with gathering. Gathering is pretty easy, but I just got fed up with it because I had done it all season. And honestly, like next expansion when Midnight comes out, I will probably go back into a thing where I do multiple professions just to see what's what, because I've got like multiple characters. So I'll just do multiple characters and do multiple professions on them just to see what I like. Because that's what I was doing in Season 1 of The War Within, was just doing a whole bunch of different stuff on my characters until I found something that clicked, something that was easy to get online, something that would pay the bills, right? And it worked out pretty well. It was fine. So anyway, wishing you the best. If you're a group player and you think what I'm doing is insane, drop me a comment. If you're a solo player and you think what I'm doing is valid, drop me a comment. Let's talk about it. Are you mad that Blizzard is putting so much research and development into solo players? Do you think that's ruining the game? I want to hear your opinion. Not that I'll agree with you, but I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear you express what you're mad about. I want to at least get your side of the story on the books. Tell me what you really think. So anyway, that's low effort, strictly solo. I think it's valid because it's fun and because I'm not really claiming the same level of rewards as you guys. And I think it's relevant because obviously the devs are putting a lot of dollars into developing it. Anyway, this is Fiasco Joe signing off. Y'all take good care of yourselves. I love you, and I'll see you later. So long.